Valerie Anders, what did it feel like, you know, that Christmas Eve when Bill was up there and quoting from the Bible? That was a historic, none of us will ever forget it, and I know you won't.
That's for sure.
What did you feel like inside?
Well, I'll tell you, it was sort of unexpected to me, and to me they sounded very lonely and far away. And yet I think that though Apollo 8 had slipped the technical bonds of Earth, that they had not slipped the emotional and spiritual bonds of Earth, and it was their message back to mankind.
Could your children understand what was happening?
The children understood what was happening. It's difficult to say about even your own children as to what the effect was. However, those children of mine were born into the space program, and they don't know, as we do, that the space program hasn't always been. And so they lived there and they grew up in it, and they were conditioned as I was conditioned before it happened.
Now, one of your children was born here in Dayton, isn't that right?
Yes, my only daughter. I have 4 sons, and my only daughter was born here in Dayton when my husband was attending the Air Force Institute of Technology at Wright-Patterson.
And he was stationed here about 2 years, you said?
Yes, from 1960 to 62. He was in nuclear engineering at AFIT.
And you have good friends here?
Yes, we still have. I had stayed last night with Dr. Bette Rogge, who's a physics professor there, and his fine family. And the Gibsons, who invited me here for NACON, are from my husband's in my hometown in La Mesa, California, which is a suburb of San Diego. So I feel that I do have friends here still.
Well, of course, then Bill and Bob went to school together, didn't they,
yes,
for many, many years?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit, Valerie, about your experiences as an astronaut's wife. Now, of course, this didn't just come about overnight, did it?
No, I think that's part of what my speech concerned today, that there's a great deal of education and conditioning as far as an astronaut's wife goes, and part of it is being a military pilot's wife and knowing your husband's character from the beginning, which I did well, and just kind of working up to it as the years go by. And pretty soon you find yourself just really looking forward to the day when they will achieve what is their goal. And of course Apollo 8 was an exciting goal to be reached, and many firsts on that flight.
What did you do? Did you keep very, very busy during those days?
I became addicted to the squawk box, which is the little box they put in the astronaut wives' homes, and it's the same thing that goes out to the press. But I find myself sitting by that box night and day because all the communications came over it. And many friends share the experience with you. Neighbors send in food. Your children are cared for, you know, within the house, though you spend a lot of time there. I also did not attend my husband's launch because with 5 it would have been difficult to travel to the Cape. I had gone for 7 and I had seen the first unmanned Saturn V, so I felt that I was able to stay at home for that one.
Now, how much time were you able to spend together before the Apollo 8 flight?
That's one thing an astronaut's wife does not have, and that's very much time with her husband. They have a very demanding training schedule, and training goes on for many years. And that is not one of the luxuries we have. We see them only occasionally. They live mainly at the Cape during crew duty, and they're lucky to get home on a weekend.
Well, then what do you do? What hobbies and things do you like to do by yourself or with other girlfriends?
Well, I did a lot to keep busy, mainly raising the 5 children. You learn to be a plumber and all kinds of things when your husband's away a lot. I did ballet for exercise, and
is this great to keep your figure in shape? Because you're very, very trim.
I think it helps a great deal. I hadn't done it as a child, but I found that it was a competitive sort of thing, and I enjoyed it. We were very involved with swimming there. We lived close to a lake, and my sons enjoyed water skiing as I did. This was our family recreation, and they had a little sailboat, and it was a very good community for raising children. Also, everyone was involved in the space program, and so the whole community was sort of oriented in that direction, which also made the schools very good.
You have 4 boys. Do they want to become astronauts?
The little ones haven't really said. I mean, they've suggested such things as firemen and policemen, as little boys do, and garbage collectors and that sort of thing. The big boys are more serious about it, and particularly our oldest son is asked many times if he wants to follow in his father's footsteps. And he's very specific in saying that he wants to be a brain surgeon. I think it would be hard for a boy to follow his father in that direction, and so it's understandable that he wants to branch off in another direction.
What is Bill doing now, Valerie?
He has been Executive Secretary of the National Aeronautics and Space Council, which is an advisory group to the President, and he received the appointment last fall, so we're now living near Washington, D.C., in Arlington, Virginia.
That's a beautiful spot, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We just bought land in McLean, which is a little further north, and we're building a house.
Oh. Have you been to the White House?
Yes.
Yeah.
We had been fortunate enough during Apollo 8, we were sort of in there in the change of administration, so we went to a dinner before the flight, and then the Nixons asked us following Apollo 8 for a very small dinner party, which was very enjoyable.
Well, we certainly have enjoyed visiting with you, Valerie Anders, and a lot of good luck to you, and also to those 5 kiddies.